Welcome back. I thought I'd do another video, and I've got a few topics that I want to talk about, so I'll take one today and I'll probably do another one a little later in the week. So today I wanted to talk about labels. I think I've talked about something similar before. This is probably around self-talk and stuff like that, but this one's probably a little bit different from that. We do have sort of things that when we self-talk, we talk about we're not good enough, we're not this, we're not that. And those things are important to sort of be aware of, that how we're framing ourselves and how we're talking to ourselves and what we're saying to ourselves is very important. But we also need to sort of understand the labels we put upon ourselves, and I'm guilty of this quite a bit. And I think sometimes the labels that we put on ourselves are quite surprising. Everybody probably thinks some of the labels that we put on ourselves are justified just because that's how we see ourselves. But the labels that we put on ourselves also then determine how we action things and how we do things, and also how we think about goals or how we think about habits that we're forming. And some of our subconscious is driven by these labels as well. So we need to be really careful about what labels we put ourselves on ourselves. One of the ones that I have a problem with is I won't say that I'm overly overweight. I am probably I'm very tall, and so my weight is probably a little bit more evenly distributed and maybe not sort of seen as much, but I sort of feel like I've got a bit of a stomach, as most men my age will have, unless they're absolutely working out all the time, and then, well done to them, they've probably gone past that. But I see that stomach and always sort of feel that I'm sort of overweight, and it makes me look a little bit of unattractive and stuff like that. And so, rightly or wrongly, I put that label upon myself. And so that drives quite a lot of sometimes the things that it does. And it sometimes drives my social responses to things then as well. I mightn't feel as confident in certain situations, especially if I'm maybe at the beach or something like that, where I need to potentially show something off, or if I want to wear something that's maybe a little bit tighter, it sort of might potentially accentuate that stomach, and it doesn't make me feel good. But it certainly doesn't then make me feel, that label doesn't make me feel good about myself in other situations as well. And so that label can then really be like something that's really detrimental to me in terms of what that label is and what I've put on myself. If I turn that around and sort of say, I'm instead of putting I'm overweight, I start to put on a sort of a label that is around fitness, like I'm a fit person, or I want to be a fit person, and talk about fitness. That will then also drive how I think about things. If I think about myself as an overweight person and I come to sort of see food, then I probably sort of, I might be thinking, oh, well, it doesn't really matter if I eat it or not. It'll make me feel better. And I'm already overweight, so I can just eat it, and it's probably not going to really do something. But if I have a label upon myself as I'm a fit person, then I might look at that, look at the food, and if it's not healthy food, I might sort of say, well, I don't actually need to eat that. I'm a fit person. I'm trying to keep fit. So that's not actually going to help that goal, or help that mindset, or help that label. So I think this is an important one. I know that's just a very simple example, and sometimes it's hard to sort of determine what labels there are that you have for yourself. But they're sort of ones. We obviously, I've talked about imposter syndrome. That's another label that people put on themselves. They don't think they're good enough. There's lots of different labels that we can sort of apply to ourselves, and a lot of them are subconscious. But then those subconscious labels drive subconscious action or subconscious thoughts. So it's better to sort of make sure that you understand what your labels are, so that you understand that sometimes what things are driving you, without you even really making conscious decisions. So like I said in that example about me being sort of seeing myself as slightly overweight, or seeing myself as overweight, that drives sometimes my food consumption. Well, I'm already that way. Having a little bit more won't drive. But if I have a different label or a different thought process about myself, then I can start to sort of maybe have different thoughts around how I consume food or what type of food I consume. One of my biggest ones is soft drinks, Coke and all of those sort of things. I do like to drink them. If I'm having an overweight sort of moment, then grabbing another can out of the fridge is not a big thing. But if I'm trying to do having a fitness moment, then I might sort of say, oh no, I don't need the can. I'll go grab some water instead. So it can drive how you think about those. So think about the labels you have around yourself. Sometimes get other people to sort of talk to you about that, to sort of understand how they see you, what decisions they see you making without sort of really realizing it. And then you can sort of, that might help you to understand what decisions you are making without actually realizing it. And that might help you then sort of expand away from those as well. So thanks very much. Hopefully you gained something out of that in terms of this talk about labels. I know when I first heard about it, it was quite revolutionary for me, and I started thinking about some of these labels that I put one. I'm going to talk about labels in the next video a little bit as well, because I think it is quite an important topic. So look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for spending some time, and hopefully that was of interest.